Not yet. I'm gonna come like I will watch of all of them by like tomorrow night because today I was out for admissions and everything.
Oh, you're in India, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I believe we have completed these parts, right? Today we have to start with the hepatic portal system, isn't it, students? Those who were present in the previous class? Okay. So see, in our body, there's like a portal system present. Okay, a portal system is the system which is present in between the heart, one or more organ, and like it's like connected between the digestive tract and the heart, and like that two organs when they are connected together, we consider that to be the portal system actually. Now, hepatic portal system, it is connected with our liver. So the hepatic portal vein, what it does is that it carries the deoxygenated blood from the intestine to the liver so that the liver could, you can say, take out the toxins and stuff, and then it will deliver it to the heart, because our heart cannot manage to have that much amount of toxins all at once. So that is why in the hepatic portal system, first of all, it's like a unique vascular connection. Vascular means something that is richly supplied with blood vessels. So it's like a vascular system, right? And that is present between the digestive tract and the liver. Now
But
the
isn't
hepatic,
the detoxification done in the kidneys though? Like the
that is a
purification?
different thing. That is a different. Kidneys, they filter out our blood in order to form the urine. That is a different thing. Here, the hepatic portal system is like the blood that is coming from the intestine that is going to the liver before being sent to the heart, so as to detoxify the deoxygenated blood so that to eliminate the toxins. And remember, this hepatic portal system, it's like a you can say system that is present only in the vertebrates, meaning those organisms that have a vertebral column. Lower organisms, they will not have this. Clear?
Yeah.
Any doubts? All right. After that, there comes this thing about the regulation of the cardiac activity. Now, if you remember the breathing and exchange of gases, in that people have studied how the pneumotaxic center is present, how the pons and the medulla, they regulate the breathing and everything. Same way, the cardiac activity, meaning the activity of the heart, can also be regulated by other things. Like firstly, it will be regulated by the heart itself, because the heart is auto-excitable and it's myogenic, right? It is made up of muscles, and because of the presence of sinoatrial node, it is auto-excitable, right? Second, regulation of the cardiac activity. This is done by the ANS, which stands for autonomic nervous system. Now, this is a special nervous system which is found in our medulla region, medulla oblongata, and it has two types of nerves associated with it, sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves. Now, remember, the sympathetic nerves, it increases our heartbeat, it increases the contraction strength of the ventricles, and thereby, ultimately, the cardiac output is going to be increased. The parasympathetic will do everything opposite to what the sympathetic nerves do. So they decrease the heartbeat, they decrease the speed of conduction and the cardiac output, meaning the amount of blood being pumped by the sympathetic nerves is like increased, but the the parasympathetic nerves, they decrease. Clear?
And what's cardiac output?
Cardiac output is the amount of blood that our heart pumps out during every beat, meaning every per minute. Okay, the amount of blood the heart pumps out per minute, that constitutes the cardiac output. Now, moving forward, the third way the cardiac activity could be regulated is with the help of adrenal medullary hormone, which is like present in the medulla or you can say in the peripheral portion of the adrenal gland. What is adrenal gland? You might have studied in control and coordination in class 10, right? It is the gland that sits on top of the kidney, and it
It
has a lot of
releases adrenaline, right?
adrenaline, right? It releases adrenaline and noradrenaline, right? So this also increases the cardiac output. Clear? Regulation of cardiac activity is clear to everyone. Does anyone have any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now moving forward, talking about the various disorders of our whole entire, you can say, circulatory system. The first one is hypertension. Hypertension is high blood pressure. So you know that our normal blood pressure is 120 over 80 millimeters of mercury. But when the blood pressure rises above this said normal blood pressure, we say or we call it as hypertension. Now hypertension like 140 over 90, even beyond that. Now it leads to a lot of heart diseases. And the most important thing that you people have to remember that the high blood pressure or hypertension, it, you can say, damages the important organs such as the heart, brain, and kidney. So remember this mnemonic that hypertension can damage your 3 BHK, not your 3-bedroom hall kitchen. No, it's your 3 brain, heart, and kidneys. So you can use this to remember that this is what it hampers. And when a person has low blood pressure, you call it as hypotension instead of hypertension. The word hypo is for less. The word hyper is for more. Is it clear?
Yeah.
After that, there is coronary artery disease, CAD. This is also called as atherosclerosis. Now, what happens is that whenever a person is eating a lot of gunk, a lot of junk and everything, I'm smiling because before taking your class, I just had a burger. Just had a burger. I'm in no shape to tell you these things. Just 1 second, students. Just give me 1 second. All right. So, yes. So, this is what happens is that when a person has a lot of junk food, a lot of processed food, oily food, so those oils, they start getting deposited in our blood vessels. Okay, they do not get metabolized in our body if it is in excess. Obviously, occasional, if you are eating just like how I do, it's not going to harm you. But in a long run, when a person is having it continuously, so those fat molecules, those bad cholesterols, they'll start getting deposited in our blood vessels. Okay, imagine it like a gunk, like dirt and dust that is present in our body's pipeline. So as a result of which, if the gunk is present inside our blood vessels, meaning the space from which the blood has to flow, that will get reduced, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the blood that will be passing through it, it will be rushing through the blood vessels because the space has now been narrowed down, isn't it? So this particular disease, wherein this deposition is happening, we call it as coronary artery disease, or you can also call it as atherosclerosis. How is it caused? It is caused because of the deposition of calcium, fat, cholesterol, and fibrous tissues in our blood vessels. And what does it do? It makes the lumen of the artery narrower. As a result of which, if a person has coronary artery disorder, their blood will be rushing through the blood vessels, and they'll also have high blood pressure, isn't it? So these are another next thing. The next disease is angina, which is also called as angina pectoris. Like acute chest pain happens. Why? Because the heart muscle, when it doesn't receive any oxygen, it can take place in males and females both, but mostly it's common in the middle age and mostly the elderly people. Now, it occurs due to the conditions that affect the blood flow again. if the blood flow, let's just say because of the coronary artery disorder, because of any other thing also, maybe the blood vessel is not working fine like before. So in all of these cases, the blood flow will be compromised. And if the blood flow compromises, it means that no oxygen delivery is happening. As a result of which the person has chest pain. And this is what angina or angina pectoris is. Now, after that, there are few words that almost look very similar, but they are not. Cardiac arrest, heart failure, and heart attack. They can ask you to write the differences in between all of them. Do you people know the differences? Like, have you, like, because, we mostly think heart attack, cardiac arrest, all of these things are the same thing, isn't it? Or heart failure, same. But no. Heart failure is when our heart is not effectively doing its job. Okay. And when the heart doesn't pump enough blood effectively, so a person, obviously, the body will not receive enough oxygen. And this disease, heart failure, is also called as congestive heart failure. Why? Because one of the main symptoms of this particular disease is the congestion of the lungs. The lungs, they feel congested. So along with the heart failing, the lungs also get congested because not enough blood is reaching there. Then comes cardiac arrest. Cardiac arrest is when the heart suddenly just stops beating. Just stops. Nothing else. It stops. And heart attack happens when the heart muscles are suddenly damaged without, like, if not enough blood supply is sent to the heart. So when the heart muscles are being damaged, we say that it is heart attack. When the heart suddenly just stops beating, we call it as cardiac arrest. And when the heart is not effectively pumping out blood, we call it as heart failure. It's very important, students. In fact, all of the diseases, they're very important. Up until now, is everything clear?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Now, Miss, the CAD, the second disease that you said, and hypertension related.
Which one? CAD?
Yeah, and
Huh.
hypertension. Are they related?
Yeah, it could be related. It's not necessary that a person has high blood pressure. Maybe they have gunk in their blood vessels, but most likely it is the case. Okay. Also, if a person has that deposition in their blood vessels, it is 100% going to affect the flow of the blood because the flow of the blood is suddenly going to increase. Got it?
Okay, yeah.
So with this, your chapter gets completed. Now, there is this one part about blood group, right? Check in your book, students. Is it there? The blood group, ABO blood group. It's there.
Yeah, Mama, it is.
Okay. See, so when we talk about blood group, it's like depending upon the antigen that is present on our RBC. Now, you people know that our RBCs, these are the ones that carry the hemoglobin, which is responsible for carrying the oxygen or the carbon dioxide. But other than that, the surface of RBC, okay, surface of RBC contains the antigens. What are antigens? Imagine it like antigen. Anti, you can connect it with antibodies. Gen means generating. So these are the antibodies generating proteins. Okay. They are antibody generating protein. Now what they do is that, for example, if there is an RBC that has the antigen A, okay, if antigen A is present, it will make antibody for B. And this blood, how did it become a heart? It will make antibody for B, and this blood group will be called as A blood. If the antigen on the RBC is B, it will make the antibody for A, and you will call this as B blood. Okay. If the antigen on the RBC is AB, and it will make no antibodies, so you will call it as AB blood. Lastly, if the antigen is, you can say O, and it basically it doesn't have any antigen, okay, but it makes antibody for A, antibodies for B. Then you call this as O blood, okay. So the A blood group, the person that has A blood group, they will need A blood group to be transfused ever, like in a surgery or in any injury like that. If you send the B blood to the A blood's body, then the person can die because of clumping. Okay, their blood will start to clump like that in the body itself and the person will die. And remember one thing, since the AB blood group is not making any antibody, it is called as universal recipient. It can take blood from anyone, anyone. And since the O blood group doesn't have any such antigen, so you call it as universal donor. Okay, this is all that you people have to know. How many of you are A blood group holders here? Okay, Aisha. And then B, you're also Maha, A blood group.
Yeah,
And you, Sanidhi?
I'm also A.
A, all of you are A blood group holders. Me too. I'm also, my blood group is also A. Alright. So, understood this much is clear, students?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, there is this thing about RH. Now, you people know that see, there is this RH factor. Okay, RH factor is there. Like you know that some of you might be A positive, A negative, right? B positive, B negative, like that. Blood groups are there. So this positive negative refers to the RH factor, which is the rhesus factor. Okay, you write down till here first of all. Then I'll teach you the rhesus factor. So you have to start from where? Hepatic portal, right? Did you people draw this thing in the previous class? No,
But
right?
the last thing we wrote was the layers of the blood vessels. Yeah, that one.
Okay, this part is completed.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you draw this one because it will help you in understanding the double circulation, and then you can write down the rest. Okay, you can switch off your videos, write down.
Mom, done.
Everyone's done till here?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Mom, done.
Everyone's done till here?
Yes, mom.
Yeah, ma'am.
Done. Done. Can you scroll?
Yeah, is everyone done till here?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, okay, I'm waiting. You're right.
Done, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, everyone's done with here?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, can you please respond?
Yes, Aisha, you're also done?
Yeah, ma'am.
Ma'am, what's systematic and diastotic?
See, systolic and diastolic are the two types of pressures of the blood. Systolic pressure is when the heart is contracting, because the word systole means contraction and the word diastole means relaxation. So the pressure that comes by systole, that is the systolic pressure, and the pressure that comes from the relaxation, that is diastole. So we call it as the diastolic pressure. Clear?
Okay. Ma'am, done.
Yes, ma'am, done.
Ma'am, done. Ma'am, done.
Everyone's done till here?
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
Are you sure you're not done?
done, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm done.
Everyone is done till here, students?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
All right, very good. Now see, there is this thing I'd like to tell you about RH factor. Okay, see, RH factor is the factor that is called as rhesus factor. Okay, so let's just say if a pregnant female, okay, if she is, so if there is a female that is pregnant and she is RH positive, okay. Now, if she conceived a baby which is RH negative, meaning the baby might have A negative, B negative, AB negative, or O negative blood, okay, in any of these things. Now, the whole entire pregnancy will go perfectly fine because all of you know that the mother's blood and the fetal blood are very separated. It's not mixed up. But during the time of delivery, maybe the mother's blood could be exposed to the RH negative blood of the fetus. Okay, and as soon as the mother's body or mother's bloodstream gets exposed with the RH negative blood group, then what happens? The mother's body starts preparing anti-RH negative antibody. Okay, meaning this is an antibody used to fight the foreign particle. Now what happens? First pregnancy went fine. Now during her second pregnancy, if the female has an RH positive baby, then nothing is going to happen. The baby will be born normally. But if in her second pregnancy, she has RH negative baby, so now her body has RH negative antibody. So the mother's body will start killing the RBCs of the baby while the baby is still in the uterus. So that is called as erythroblastosis fetalis. Okay. So
But
what do
then
you
how will
think?
the baby get oxygen? Because RBCs are the one transporting the oxygen and everything, right?
The baby will die, no? Baby will die.
Okay.
Because the RBCs are being killed because the anti-RH negative thingy is there and the baby's RBCs are being attacked. So the baby has very few RBCs left and ultimately the baby is going to die. Okay, so what should be done to prevent this? Because you can never know if whether the baby will be positive blood group or negative blood group. So what should be done is that if a female is RH negative, RH positive, and the baby is RH negative. So during the time of pregnancy, this antibody and then injection against this antibody must be given to the mother so that this antibody doesn't get made, so that every pregnancy would be safe. Okay, so the detrimental effect this will cause is called as erythroblastosis fetalis. But this phenomena wherein the RH positive, RH negative and the compatibility issues, we call this phenomena as RH incompatibility. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
But then how will we know that the baby has RH negative?
Blood group testing. All sorts of testings are done for the baby, for the mother, right? So a person can determine whether or not a baby is negative blood group holder or positive blood group holder. That's how. Okay, and when they don't match, and that is called as RH incompatibility, and as a result, erythroblastosis fetalis could be caused if not given the right injection during the time of delivery. Clear? Any
Yeah.
doubts up until now, students?
No, ma'am.
All right. So with this particular chapter is now completed. Now, which chapter should we start next, students?
Ma'am, next.
Excretion.
It's after this, right?
Hmm.
Ma'am, can you
See, can I start locomotion and movement? It's a very fun chapter.
Okay.
Okay.
Fine with
Ma'am.
everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. But before that, you people, okay, now we just so I am going to start with the locomotion and movement chapter. Now, this chapter is one of my most favorite chapter. Why? Because it's very, very interesting. You learn about the muscles, how the muscles move. You learn about the different bones in the body, and again, disorders related to our locomotion, our skeletal system, and everything of that sort. Now, all of you know that the total number of bones in the human body is 206. And the total number of muscles in the human body are 639. Now, locomotion refers to the change in the position. Okay, change in the position wherein a person can move from one place to another. If I'm just doing this thing, it's movement. But if I get up here and change my place, then that will be considered as the locomotion. Okay, so now let us see the different types of movements that are there. Okay, in terms of biology, there are three different types of movements: amoeboid movement, ciliary movement, and muscular movement. See, amoeboid movement is the movement that takes place through pseudopodia. Now, if I say pseudopodia, you people might think amoeba, but no. Pseudopodial movements are found in our body also. That is performed by the WBC, that is the white blood cells or the leukocytes, and the macrophages. Macrophages, they have a shape just like the amoeba. Okay, and they move sort of like engulfing the stuff, and so they have pseudopodial movement. Ciliary movement is the movement with the help of cilia. Okay, with the help of cilia. And last is the muscular movement. This is the movement that happens in us with the help of our specialized cells or specialized tissues that we call as the muscle. How many of you remember what are the different types of muscles from class 10? No one. People don't remember that. Oh no,
Ma'am,
this is
there were
not class
muscles
10.
in 10th
It's
grade.
9. Yeah, it's 9. Do you remember anything from class 9? See, there are basically three types of muscles that are found in our body.
Ma'am,
If I
like
say them,
voluntary and one like that.
No.
yes, voluntary muscles, involuntary muscles,
Muscles
and
and
cardiac.
cardiac.
So there are three types of muscles in our body. And now see students, I hope you people remember the germ layers. I taught you in animal kingdom that there are different germ layers that are present: ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm. And these germinal layers, they give rise to the organs, right? So this mesoderm layer, it gives rise to the muscle. Okay, the muscles, they are formed from the mesoderm of the germ. Now, what are the properties of our muscle? The muscle has the
The germ layers.
hmm?
The germ layers. Can you explain that?
See, yeah, when the zygote is formed after the fertilization, okay, slowly, that zygote becomes an embryo, okay, and then slowly, when in humans, when the development takes place further and further and further, then three layers are formed, okay, outermost layer, which is called as ectoderm, middle layer, mesoderm, and inner layer, endoderm. These layers are called as germinal layer, okay, germinal layers. And what they do is that each of these layers that are present, they are responsible for giving rise to different organs. So our organ formation, it originates from the germ layers or the germinal layers. So since the germ layers, they are of three types: ecto, endo, and mesoderm, the muscle, it is formed from the mesoderm. Okay. So if anyone would ask you what is the origin of our muscles, so you'd say it is mesodermal in origin. Okay. And remember that M for muscles, M for mesoderm. Okay. Now, what are the properties that are present in the muscles? Our muscles can contract. So contractibility, right? We can do varieties of motions because of this property of contractibility. Then comes excitability. Our muscles, they get excited. Not like that. Yay, no, not like that. They get charged. They transmit the charges. That is excitability. And then there is elasticity. Elasticity is that property that if a muscle gets stretched, it will go back to its normal state. Like for example, how if you are getting something from the top shelf of somewhere, right? You stretch your hand to get it. Now, when you want to come back, you come back to your normal state, isn't it? It's not like the condition that if you stretch there, you're going to stay that way forever. That's not it. Why? It's because of the elasticity property of our muscles. And all in all, our body's 40 to 50% body weight is because of our muscles. Now, talking about the different types of muscles that are there, we have skeletal muscles, which are called as striated muscles. You can call it as the voluntary muscles. Then we have the second kind of muscles, that is the visceral muscles or smooth muscles or non-striated or involuntary muscles. And the last type of muscles found in our body is the cardiac muscle. Right, it is striated, but faint striations are there and 100% involuntary. What is the difference between voluntary and involuntary, students?
Voluntary are the
Voluntary
muscles
movements,
we can
muscles are
control, and involuntary are the muscles
controlled
that we
by
can't.
our own selves, but involuntary.
Hmm. So when we talk about voluntary, meaning the kind of movement that is under our control. The kind that isn't under our control, that is involuntary. So when we talk about the characteristics of the skeletal muscles, they are cylindrical, they are multinucleated, right? They have a lot of nuclei. They are unbranched and striations are present, meaning they give a striped appearance. Best example of the voluntary or the skeletal muscle is the muscles of the limbs, that is forelimbs and hind limbs. Then comes the smooth muscles. Smooth muscles are the ones that have a fusiform shape. They are not cylindrical, rather they are like this. Start thin at the beginning, thick in the middle and thin at the end. So tapering ends. This is what we call as tapering ends. And they are uninucleated. They are found mostly in those parts of our body wherein it's not going to be under our control. Like if they are found in the uterus, they're found in the iris of the eyes, then they're found in our digestive system. So the smooth muscles are that. Then comes the cardiac muscles. The muscles of our heart, they are called as the cardiac muscles. These are branched muscles. Okay, branching is present, but stripes are faint. Faint striations are present. 100% they are involuntary. We don't have to tell our heart that, okay, now you can start beating. They beat on their own. They generate their own impulse or they generate their own signal. And as a result of that, we call them as auto-excitable. So what they do, they either increase the heartbeat, they decrease the heartbeat like that. Now, one such property that is found only and only in the cardiac muscles is the presence of intercalated disc. These are the special disc-like structures that are found only and only in the cardiac muscles. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And just like our skeletal muscles, they are also multinucleated. So this is sort of like an overview of all the different muscles and stuff. But in this particular chapter, we are more concerned with the skeletal muscles. Okay, so we're going to study everything related to the skeletal muscles. Clear?
Yes.
All right, now you people note down till here, then we'll move forward.
We don't have to write about the blood groups and the RH factor.
I will give you the proper notes. I've just scribbled in front of you people to just tell you, explain it to you. So I will like write proper thing and then I'll send it to you. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
I'm done.
Everyone's done till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
I'm done.
Everyone's done till here?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm done.
Understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm done.
Mom, done.
I'm done.
All right. Okay, students. So we'll be keeping it till here only for today's class and we'll continue